And as the President of the Senate, it's particularly meaningful for me to welcome Republican and Democrat members of the Senate to this very special evening. I want to give special appreciation to Leader McConnell and Leader Schumer. Thank you so much for both being here tonight. Thank
Good afternoon, ladies. And as one of the senior women in the White House, I would like to welcome you here and thank our wonderful Omarosa for setting this event up. Now, you know, very few people have only one name that they're known by: Elvis, Oprah, and Omarosa. I'm really thrilled to have the opportunity to introduce to you one of the people in the White House who does the most for women, and that is the Vice President. I see him every day because my office is right down the hall. As the Deputy National Security Advisor, I brief the Vice President and the President every day about defense, foreign policy, international crises. But let me tell you about another international crisis. I was at Trump Tower right after the president won the election, and he had asked me to be the Deputy National Security Advisor. Now, at that time, it wasn't the White House with hundreds of staff and everybody doing things. It was really me, General Flynn, and the 19-year-old kid who had been the driver during the campaign. And every ambassador in the world wanted to meet the new national security team for President Trump and Vice President Pence. So we were there in Trump Tower, and in and out they came, you know, ambassadors, foreign ministers, and it was actually kind of a parade. Well, one day, I lost one. Actually, I lost two of them. I lost a foreign minister and his ambassador, and I greeted them very nicely when they came to Trump Tower. I put them in a little conference room and promptly got distracted. Half an hour later, I realized that I had left a foreign minister of one of America's closest allies by himself. I didn't even offer him a cup of coffee. So at this point, you know, running in my head is, oh my gosh, you've only been on this job for 48 hours and you've already got an enemy, an important ally that's now an enemy. So I'm panicking, thinking, well, what should I do? Well, I went up to the foreign minister and the ambassador, who clearly were not impressed that a woman was greeting them, and they were hoping for more. So I'm looking around, what can I do, what can I do? And then a very handsome silver-haired man walks by, and I ran up to him and I said, Mr. Vice President, I need a big favor. I have really blown this. I have lost a foreign minister and an ambassador, and they're not getting nearly enough attention. And he looked at me and he said, don't worry, I got you covered. So the Vice President goes over to the very senior foreign minister, and he sticks his hand out, and he said, it's such a great honor to meet you. And let me tell you, my daughter's had a trip recently to your country. Could you please come into my office? Well, two big smiles, a foreign minister, an ambassador, thrilled to be meeting the Vice President-elect of the United States. They had their meeting, they came out. I was thinking, gosh, crisis averted. I'm going to get the Nobel Peace Prize. And so fast forward to about 6 weeks later, at the inaugural, I saw the same ambassador. And I said, wasn't that a great opportunity? You got to meet the Vice President. And he said, yeah, but I got in a lot of trouble. And I'm thinking, huh? Are you kidding? And he said, yeah, when the word got back to the Prime Minister that I had met the foreign minister and I had been with the Vice President, he wanted to know why I hadn't been invited to the party. With that, let me introduce one of the great men in this administration, and somebody who not only empowers women, but in my case, he saved my neck. Thank you, the Vice President.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you, KT, for that memorable introduction. And thank you, KT, for your great leadership on the airwaves and in this administration. We're so grateful to you. On behalf of President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump, it is my great privilege today to welcome members of our cabinet and women from across the country, business leaders, leaders in academic life and public life, leaders in your communities, friends all, welcome to the White House. And it's great to be here during Women's History Month, isn't it? Yeah. The world has celebrated International Women's Day on March 8th since 1911. It was in 1980 that President Jimmy Carter declared the week of March 8th National Women's History Week, and 6 years later, the National Women's History Project successfully petitioned Congress to expand National Women's History Week into the entire month of March. And today, here in the East Room at the White House, we're continuing a celebration of Women's History Month by really bringing together an extraordinary group of women who are serving this administration with incredible distinction. We welcome you all to this Women's Empowerment Panel. This event is really the tail end of a month that culminates in a series of activities where President Trump has sought to honor women's contributions to the United States of America. He's held multiple listening sessions dedicated to finding solutions to the unique challenges that women face in the workplace and in running businesses. He signed legislation promoting education and employment for women in the sciences in areas that we've been historically underrepresented. He signed a proclamation declaring that women's, quote, contributions to our nation's life, culture, history, economy, and families have shaped us and helped fulfill America's promise. The truth of this statement is evident for all to see. This may be Women's History Month, but the fact is that women in America make history every single day. And today, I'm really looking forward to just sitting in. You're going to hear today from some of the extraordinary women that President Trump has brought in to help lead this administration. Betsy DeVos, from one of the great storied business families in Michigan, in America, now the administrator of the Small Business Administration. Betsy's already been on the road talking about how we get America moving again for women entrepreneurs. And of course, one of my two daughters' favorites, she was a governor. Now she is the United States ambassador to the United Nations. Nikki Haley is with us today. As you can imagine, my two daughters, one in college, who's headed to law school next year, and one who just started her career, are not very impressed with people in politics. But both of them said to me a few years ago when Nikki passed through a challenging time in the life of her state, they said, that Nikki Haley is really cool. And we are so honored to have you in this administration. And the new administrator of the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services, and a Hoosier, Seema Verma, is with us today. This is an extraordinary group of women, and I'm looking forward to hearing their thoughts today. And, you know, it really is the greatest privilege of my life to serve as Vice President to President Donald Trump. This is a president who has advanced the interests of women and relied on women leaders at crucial moments throughout his career, like when he named a woman to lead his campaign for president, and Kellyanne Conway became the first woman in American history to lead a successful presidential campaign. The truth is, American women are making a difference in our administration, in our economy, in our communities every single day. They're driving our economy through entrepreneurship and innovation. In fact, there are more than 9.4 million women-owned American businesses that employ nearly 8 million Americans, with annual revenues now totaling $1.5 trillion. American women, no doubt inspired by the leaders like those gathered in this room today, are also graduating from college and post-secondary education in record numbers. and women leaders are defending our nation and wearing the uniform of the United States of America. I'm proud to say my wife Karen has actually spent this month at the direction of Mrs. Trump, highlighting the service of women in our armed forces and the spouses that support men in armed forces. And American women are leading our country from the halls of government. You're about to hear from some of the most noteworthy. In the midst of busy lives, American women are also doing those most precious things. They're making time for families, for communities, and for involvement in religious organizations. President Trump and our administration, I promise you, are going to work tirelessly to empower women to be able to climb the ladder of opportunity and contribute even more to America's success in the years ahead. And I know, under President Trump's leadership, the future for our country and the future for American women is brighter than ever before. So one of those great leaders. I'm going to invite to the podium another great American leader in public life who will be our moderator today. Join me in welcoming the Attorney General of the great state of Florida, Pam Bondi.
States, and the First Lady, Melania Trump.
Well, thank you very much. What an amazing audience this is. So many young faces that represent the future of leadership in our country. So true. Melania and I are deeply honored to join you. And Melania, thank you for being here. So as you know, Melania is a very highly accomplished woman and really an inspiration to so many. And she is doing some great job. In fact, I shouldn't say this, but her poll numbers went through the roof last week. What was that all about? Through the roof. She has to give us the secret mic, right? Anyway, I appreciate it very much. My cabinet is full of really incredible women leaders. Administrator Linda McMahon, who's been a friend of mine for a long time. Long time. She's done an incredible job in business, by the way. Administrator Seema Verma, Secretary Betsy DeVos, and, of course, my good friend from South Carolina, who is a very tough competitor, I want to tell you, Nikki Haley, Ambassador. She's doing fantastically well. And we're also joined, of course, by Florida Attorney General, highly respected Pam Bondi. So I want to thank you, Pam. Thank you. Elaine Chao, our Secretary of Transportation, who's a real expert. You know, she was Secretary of Labor, but she said, I really wanted to be Secretary of Transportation. That's her real expertise, and she's doing incredibly. She would have been here, but she's celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Department of Transportation right now as we speak. And we're going to work on infrastructure, and we are going to put up one of the big and great infrastructure bills of all time. We're going to get our infrastructure fixed in our country, and we're going to rebuild our country, and that's what we need. Lots of jobs also. And I want to thank Ford. You saw their big announcement yesterday, and so many others are announcing tremendous numbers of jobs. They're not leaving our country anymore, folks. They're not leaving. They're staying, and they're building right here. So we really have these incredibly strong and dedicated leaders, and they're with me, and they're with us. And I'm very happy about it, and I want to thank you as being representative very much of our group. Thank you all very much. Thank you. And I'm so proud that the White House and our administration is filled with so many women of such incredible talent. This week, as we conclude Women's History Month, we honor a great woman of American history. Since the very beginning, women have driven, and I mean each generation of Americans, toward a more free and more prosperous future. Among these patriots are women like the legendary Abigail Adams, right? Who during the founding urged her husband to remember the rights of women. She was very much a pioneer in that way. We've been blessed with courageous heroes like Harriet Tubman, who escaped slavery and went on to deliver hundreds of others to freedom, first in the Underground Railroad and then as a spy for the Union Army. She was very, very courageous, believe me. And we've had leaders like Susan B. Anthony. Have you heard of Susan B. Anthony? I'm shocked that you've heard of her. Who dreamed of a much more equal and fair future. An America where women themselves, as she said, helped to make laws and elect the lawmakers. And that's what's happening more and more. Tough competition out there, I want to tell you. From the untamed frontiers of the Western Plains to the skyscrapers of Manhattan, American women in every generation have shown extraordinary grit, courage, and devotion. Our present generation stands on the shoulders of these titans, and that's what they were and are, titans. Only by enlisting the full potential of women in our society will we be truly able to, you have not heard this expression before, make America great again. Good expression. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. It's been a lot of fun. And we didn't get that one from Madison Avenue, right? My administration will work every day to ensure that our economy is a place where women can work, succeed, and thrive like never before. That includes fighting to make sure that all mothers and all families have access to affordable child care. We want every daughter in America to grow up in a country where she can believe in herself, believe in her future, and follow her heart and realize her dreams. And we want a country that celebrates family, that celebrates community, and that creates a safe and loving home for every child. Every child. That's what we want. Early this year, I met with a remarkable group of leaders. They were women entrepreneurs from all across the country. They started their businesses from absolutely nothing, and today have grown them into successful enterprises that employ hundreds, and in certain cases, even thousands of people. Just think of what our country could achieve if we unleashed the power of women entrepreneurs nationwide. Think of that. So as a man, I stand before you as president. But if I weren't president, I wouldn't be happy to hear that statement. That would be a very scary statement to me. Because there's no way we can compete with you. So I would not be happy. Just wouldn't be happy. One of the business owners I met, Lisa Phillips, used to be homeless. She's now the owner of an event planning company, and she trains homeless youth in Baltimore for good-paying jobs. Lisa had a message for all of us. As she put it, this is a country of chances. If you're willing to work hard, you'll get the chance. And she means it, and she's become very successful. She's terrific. Lisa's right. But we have to fight to ensure that more people have the chance to succeed. To do that, we must believe in each other. And we must dare to dream of a better, brighter, and more prosperous future for all of our citizens. We have no choice. That's what we have to do. And to be honest, whether you're a woman or whether you're a man, you have that same dream. You want to be able to dream. You just have a big advantage over us. You know why? Right there. A lot of truth to that, Mike, right? That's what I want for each and every one, and each and every one of our daughters and our granddaughters, and I know together we will get there. I want every young person in the audience today and watching from home, and they're all over the place. Those cameras are all over. To know that the future truly belongs to you. We are Americans, and we will not stop until we have achieved our dreams. I want to thank you very much for being here. It's my great honor I will tell you, to be here. In fact, Melania said, this is something I just have to be at. She feels so strongly about it. She feels so strongly about it. So thank you. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain in your seats until the President, Mrs. Trump, and the Vice President have departed the East Room.
And excuse me.
Extraordinary women that President Trump has brought in to help lead this administration. Betsy DeVos, from one of the great storied business families in Michigan, in America, now the administrator of the Small Business Administration. Betsy's already been on the road talking about how we get America moving again for women entrepreneurs. And of course, one of my two daughters' favorites, she was a governor. Now she is the United States ambassador to the United Nations. Nikki Haley is with us today. As you can imagine, my two daughters, one in college, is headed to law school next year, and one who just started her career, are not very impressed with people in politics. But both of them said to me a few years ago, when Nikki passed through a challenging time in the life of her state, they said, that Nikki Haley is really cool. And we are so honored to have you in this administration. And the new administrator of the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services, and a Hoosier, Seema Verma, is with us today. This is an extraordinary group of women, and I'm looking forward to hearing their thoughts today. And, you know, it really is the greatest privilege of my life to serve as Vice President to President Donald Trump. This is a president who has advanced the interests of women and relied on women leaders at crucial moments throughout his career, like when he named a woman to lead his campaign for president, and Kellyanne Conway became the first woman in American history to lead a successful